At 4ZZZ, we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging of the Turrbal and Jagera people. We acknowledge that their sovereignty over this land was never ceded.
And we stand in solidarity with them.
Tranzmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender diverse community of Milian, Brisbane and beyond. Hello, you're listening to Tranzmission on 4ZZZ, all about amplifying the trans and gender diverse voices of Milian, Brisbane and beyond. We are also, we've got some pretty cool stuff to talk about today. It's all about racism, white fragility, and gender, all within the community. We're going to be talking about some of our experiences. I've got two wonderful guests, hopefully two wonderful guests. We're still pending on one showing up, but that's okay, because we've got Pierce in studio. How you doing, Pierce?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so glad to see you. If you don't know Pierce, you should, because he's been on the show before chatting about his extraordinary gender-affirming underwear brand, Dysphoric, which we will chat more about in a second. But first, we're just going to play Hazel with the week in community news and events.
Hello, this is Hazel, and I'm bringing you your news and events for today, the 27th of April 2026. Holdsworth House, Brisbane closes its doors. An LGBTQ and HIV specialist centre in Brisbane has officially closed its doors. Holdsworth House, which first opened in late 2014, ceased operations yesterday after more than a decade of serving the community. Staff have reflected on the closure as an emotional moment, highlighting the strong connections built with patients over the past 11 years. Patients who were unable to secure appointments before the closure are being encouraged to seek care at Stonewall Medical Centre in Windsor or Gender Health Australia in Holland Park, where several former Holdsworth House practitioners are now consulting. A new practice is expected to open in Fortitude Valley on Doggett Street in July, with services set to continue supporting Brisbane's LGBTQ and HIV communities. For events, we have Kiki's Drag Night. It's at Season 3 Wollongabba, Friday the 1st of May from 7pm, and the price is $22.50 online. On Friday the 1st of May, Season 3 is hosting Kiki's Drag Night. Kiki's is a vibrant community-led event that invites the audience to become the performer by combining drag and karaoke to create an unforgettable night. We serve karaoke hits, and you serve looks. With an open mic and an open mind, Kiki's fosters a welcoming environment where anyone can become a star. Kiki's Drag Night was born right here in Milian, a DIY celebration of creativity, community, and queer joy. From our humble beginnings as a night with friends, Kiki's has evolved into a full-scale event for playful self-expression, authenticity, and pride. The dress code is drag, whatever looks like you, as long as you're serving charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Tickets are just $20 and can be bought online or at the door. For more information, head to Kiki's Drag Night on Instagram. Shelf Lovers Drag Storytime in May. This is at Gender Health Australia 1018 Logan Road, Holland Park, on Saturday, May 2nd from 2pm, and it's $5 per person. Join us for the first drag storytime in our new home. That's right, Shelf Lovers is back, and we're bringing all of your favourite sparkly, cozy, and fun vibes to storytime once again. Our lovely host, Vice Versa, will entertain us with some gorgeous stories and a lively show, and you'll be able to check out our beautiful pocket-sized store. Presented in collaboration with Queer and Here, Shelf Lovers Drag Storytime is open to all ages. Put on your favourite costume, your fairy wings, your glitters, or your prince, princess, or person charming outfits, and come along. Please note our new space is located inside the fully accessible GHA clinic at 1018 Logan Road, Holland Park. There is free parking on site and a bus stop right at the front of the building. Thank you, I've been Hazel. That was your news and events for today.
Thank you so much, Hazy. Week in community events, hey? Sounds like lots of things worth checking out. If you'd like to go to the drag story time, you should definitely go check out the Gender Health Australia space in Holland Park. It's amazing. We're back in studio with Pierce. How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm going to move the mic for you so it's more comfortable.
You didn't hear that? My voice did not crack. I am great.
I'm great. I'm doing fine.
Great.
Yeah. How you been? How's life?
Life is fantastic. Been
Yeah?
working on some really cool projects. Got some really cool new underwear upcoming for Dysphoric.
Yeah? Okay, all right. Tell us all about it.
All right, so first and foremost, I am working on a collaboration with Sock Drawer Heroes. For anyone who doesn't know Sock Drawer Heroes, which I can't imagine at this point in time anyone doesn't know Sock Drawer Heroes, they are located in Sydney, and they are the top gender-affirming store within Australia. They've got all of your binders, they've got packers, packing underwear, tucking underwear, lots of books. They're just all
Badges,
around awesome.
pins, other apparel as well.
Yeah, all of your gender-affirming needs, and they are trans-owned, most importantly.
Yes, which is what we love. Similarly to Dysphoric, also trans-owned
Yeah.
and operated. Do you want to talk a little bit about what Dysphoric does? I mean, some people know, but we should tell them again.
All right, so Dysphoric is Mianjin's gender-affirming underwear brand. I started it originally in 2017, and for lots of reasons, needed to relaunch it later in 2022, I think it was.
Yeah.
But it's really taken off since then. I've gotten to work with a lot of really cool like influencers. If anyone knows Benji Astrom, he was lovely and posted some things. I've also gotten to work with Sasha Allen, who also posted an awesome video review. And it's just been really cool to get to collaborate with other people within the community and see them in underwear.
I see why you started this brand now. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. We're allowed to like get a little thirsty over the community. It's all right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually just checking out the Dysphoric website. If you'd like to check out the website, it's dys4ick.com. Dysphoric with the number 4. And you've got some really great photos on here. Oh my goodness, they're just so like warm and inviting. I particularly like the trans mask with a snake.
Yes.
That's a great shot in the backyard.
We did that around the time that Old Mate did his Bonds commercial.
Oh, Robert Irwin.
Yes.
Oh yes, I was talking about Robert recently. Yeah, well, you know, if you want to eat your heart out for a trans equivalent, this this model in Dysphoric underwear is definitely coming close.
And there are fantastic photos of trans women on there as well.
Oh yeah,
and more importantly, underwear to buy.
yeah, check it out. Head over to the website and support local business, supporting trans community. Get comfortable. It's definitely getting into the cooler weather, so I don't know if you want the swimwear, but for those who are into a bit of a thrill and a chill, there's definitely some swimwear in there you can check out as well. So.
Yeah, and about to be more because of the collaboration with Sock Drawer Heroes.
Oh, are you allowed to talk about the collaboration?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Tell.
Absolutely. So it was really cool. We've been working on it for a few months now, and it is packing swimwear. They are a little bit shorter, so if you like wearing board shorts, you can wear them under, or they're just kind of hot-looking Speedo kind of vibes.
Great, and you don't have to dive into the ocean and watch your packer float up into the surf. It's finally strapped down.
Yeah. You know those videos of like messages in a bottle washing onto the seashore? Really picturesque. It's not quite the same.
Hey, Mom, look, what's this? The ocean sent us a message. Trans guy lost some appendage here. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, great. Well, I'm keen to check all that out. And shout out, to Sock Drawer Heroes down in Sydney. Sweet. Well, all the music, by the way, on today's episode, not only is it trans and gender diverse artists, but they're specifically culturally and linguistically diverse artists. That's what the showcase is for today. It's awesome. I spent a long time curating this playlist, so I hope you enjoy. You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ. My name is Ez. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm in studio with a guest that I'm really excited to introduce to you. I'm not letting him speak because I want to introduce him. You already heard him before, but we'll do it again. I'm really excited. We're joined by Piers Kent, the founder of Dysphoric, a gender-affirming underwear brand, which, first launched back in 2018 with the goal of supporting the engine's trans community. Some listeners might actually remember Piers from when he joined us back in studio in 2023 to talk about the origin story of Dysphoric, including a hilarious tale of his experience that involves the gym, a treadmill, and a packer. If you'd like to listen to that story again, I'll put links in the show notes. It's called Dysphoric Training Wheels is the episode. It was back in July 2023. So check that one out. Pierce, I'm so glad you're here. Tell us your pronouns. How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I'm Pierce. My pronouns are he and him.
And we're going to be chatting about race, racism, community, culture, gender, how we're experiencing it, and I guess like we'll talk a little bit about our cultural history and how that makes up who we are, like our identity. So yeah, Pierce, do you want to share a little bit about your story? And you have an accent as well, which I love listening to. So tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
If you haven't noticed this accent already, I am American. My mother is Hawaiian. I identify as Māhū kāne. Which is, in Hawaiian culture, there's a third gender, which is the Māhū. Kāne means masculine, so sort of along the lines of transmasculine. I can't say that I was surrounded by my Hawaiian culture as a kid. I was raised in the LDS church, and I have a very religious family, and I would say that I was predominantly raised as white, but then being at church was not treated like the white kids, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you are surrounded by beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls, and you are this slightly olive-skinned, curly, messy, bushy-haired kid, you just kind of stand out a little bit.
Yeah. And like you're not reading as white on face value, like people aren't looking at you and going, making those assumptions, essentially.
Yeah.
I think you and I actually have a similar upbringing in that we both. So I'm Charrúa, Two-Spirit Native American. My dad is South American, Uruguayan, and it's all part of that side of my family. But I was raised here and born here in Milian, Brisbane, Australia. Raised in white Australian culture, and then, but also having that connection to culture through my dad. But then mostly, I don't speak Spanish. To the shock and horror of many of my cousins. But, still having totally different experiences in primary school and stuff like that, with people being like, oh, why is your dad black and you're not? And also being like 6 years old, being like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, this is the way it is. And then getting called lots of also awful nicknames and slurs and all sorts of things and being very confused by that as well. But were you born and raised in the US?
I was born and raised in the US. I lived there until I was, I believe, 24.
Yeah, right.
Moved
That's
here,
a long time.
Yes, a very long time. I moved here just as Trump was coming into office.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah, I was talking to a girl on Instagram, and I really liked her, and the timing seemed like a sign, so I went for it.
How have you found assimilating here from the US? Like, what's that been like?
It's really interesting. A lot of people don't like Americans.
Why? What do you do?
I don't know. I remember the first time I ever went to Coffee Club. First of all, I thought it was like really nice because it's a lot nicer than some of our diners. I thought this was like high-end cafe food. But I remember asking a waitress for a knife, and she jokingly said to me, well, why don't you just cut your sandwich with your gun?
Oh my... Okay, that's a bit full on.
But also, I didn't understand Australian humor. So
how does she know my knife? I have a gun with a knife.
Yeah. Are bayonets coming back into style?
Yeah, right. So yeah, Aussie humor is definitely on the drier kind of giving you grief kind of side of
right.
the humor side of things. More almost British in the humor, actually, Aussie humor.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
I've definitely had experiences with Americans where Aussies are likely to make jokes where at your expense. As a form of bonding, whereas I discovered with some of my American friends that is not a way to bond with Americans. They're not into like knocking each other down for a bit of play.
Right.
I'm not really either, and I don't know if it's the best way to bond with people, but it has been, it is culturally a way, I guess, to bond. But yeah, so, and moving here, I mean, sounds you've got like such a unique journey to like have been raised the way that you have, and then exploring, leaving the US at a time when, you know, it was about to escalate into like some pretty intense years, which we're still living through now. And things keep developing over there, which make me more and more concerned about our trans and gender diverse cousins and family all over in the US. But yeah, so did you want to talk a little bit about your experience, maybe like living in so-called Australia and within the trans and gender diverse community? Have you ever had experiences with like being ethnically different? Has that been impacting you? Do you notice that people treat you differently?
I actually see it as almost beneficial because I find the gender diverse community is actually a little bit more diverse in the US. I see more people of color.
Yeah, great.
Whereas here, I don't see as many trans people of color. And so I'm finding myself in opportunities where that's almost embraced. Whereas in the US, I feel like even though you're seeing more people of color transitioning, it's almost whitewash. You can be a person of color, but you're wanting to blend in, whereas here it's almost celebrated.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's tokenized in some way, or more that it's just like, there's so few of you, you're so special?
Yeah, I could see how it would I would definitely see it as being tokenized.
Not that the celebration isn't lovely, more that just like when there's less of, sometimes it can feel a little bit like you stick out. Yeah. I'm definitely the only Native American that I know here. If there's any out there, give a shout out. There's a couple of Native South Americans as well, trans Native South Americans that I've met in the space, but we're not always out and about and in community. How have you found that, like, your experience, have there any been moments in the community where things felt complicated or exclusionary, anything like that? Not really?
Not so much. I do find, though, that as an immigrant, a lot of times people don't really understand what it's like in the US or what it's like to be afraid to go home. Yeah. I think here in Australia, even though I will say it is getting slightly more dangerous to be trans, there is not the level of physical danger here. And I think that because it's something that a lot of the trans community here has not faced, the understanding of what it would be like if I did have to go back to the US is, there isn't a lot of understanding of what that would look like.
And there might be, like, the reality of moving there can you move back? Like,
not safely.
Yeah.
There's the chance that my passport would be confiscated because it says male on it and was changed.
Yeah, right. That's right, because they're asking people to revert their documents back.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly in, I can't remember which state it is.
Tennessee.
It is Tennessee, where they're taking licenses away?
Yeah.
Yeah, until you revert your gender marker back, they're not letting you drive.
Yes.
What? That's outrageous. And scary. And we're also seeing some of the effects of the knock-on effects of what happens in the US also plays out here in so-called Australia as well. Have you heard much do you have many trans and gender diverse friends back home?
Oh, yeah. Lots of them.
How are they experiencing stuff? What's going on for them?
I'm seeing so many people try to figure out pathways to get out of Australia. I'm seeing a lot of my friends... get out of the US. I'm seeing a lot of my friends trying to find pathways into Australia because they know I'm here and I'm safe. But there's not a lot of pathways for us, not for Americans. You see a lot of protection visas for LGBT people coming from like third world countries.
Yeah. Not necessarily the US.
Not the US.
I wonder if that will change. I mean, I have definitely spoken to some people from Alaska who have migrated here under protection visas before, but I'm not too sure if personal circumstances also contributed to that and not exclusively because of their trans identity. So what does community look like for you here? How does community sort of fit in, and how did you find community when you moved here?
Oh, it took some time. I think Facebook helped a lot. You've got a lot of really awesome LGBT and trans groups on Facebook, and so it's connecting with people through posts, finding similar interests. I think actually having that underwear brand has done a lot for me for making community, because there's always the reaching out to people and being like, hey, you would make a great model, or people messaging me and being like, hey, can I model?
Yeah. And then, having that platform then helps too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Well, we are now about to listen to, something I recorded earlier. I really resonated with this, so I'm just going to push play. You'll also hear it on the podcast. For some extra bonus stories and poetry on queer and trans Black experiences, particularly some stories that have related to me personally that I wanted to share. If you're listening live, congratulations, we've found enough time to squeeze it in. But if you're not listening live and you're listening on the podcast, well, it's definitely on the podcast. This is 2 stories, 1 poem and 1 short sort of telling of a neurodivergent mind. This one's called Polluted, Imprints in a Neurodivergent Mind by Feliz, and then also a poem by Zoe Gamell Brown called Ocean Home, from a book that I've read from before on Tranzmission. It's called When Language Broke Open, an Anthology of Queer and Trans Black Writers of Latin American Descent. And this is edited by Alan Pelez Lopez. I have read from this book before on the show. It's one of my treasured artifacts that I own. So I hope you enjoy. Polluted Imprints in a Neurodivergent Mind by Feliz. As society insists on pressing me for answers about truths long lost ago that the modern world's majority cannot imagine or understand, I find myself responding easily, I have none. Internally, my mind instinctively begins to self-soothe. Your outward appearance doesn't define you. You know yourself, where you came from, where you have been, how it made you feel, and how you validated yourself when no one even knew you needed validation. Not even you. Your existence is ancestral survival. It is resistance. To me, this is the familiar slipping of consciousness that leads to the comforts of my inattentive neurodivergence. Within the safe space of my mind, I can feel myself uninhibitedly scanning endlessly for glimpses of what constitutes my story. I find myself trying to recall the moment I feel safe enough to tell the world my truth. That moment exists, but at the same time, it does not exist. This is because the thought leads me to memories that were forced on me by others. I distinctly say forced because I have never consented to the expectations or the assumptions that have followed me, even as I tried to shed them rigorously after I realized they were not mine and never have been. None of the memories I have which are tied to my identity are mine. Despite not being mine, the memories I do have undoubtedly shape much of who I was, who I hid, who I have become, and who I had to hide again for my own protection. The world, including those closest to me, is not ready to accept those like me, erased despite forming an accepted part of the communities whose blood survives within my veins. The memories carried in me are those shaped by a violent history that was forced on my ancestors and subsequently stole my ability and right to exist safely. This history, my history, is one that has compartmentalized me and those like me for over 520 years. The memories I hold have been built upon a self that have been divided piece by piece according to the byproducts of that history through erasure, homophobia, transphobia, binarism, anti-blackness, anti-indigeneity, colorism, classism. They are polluted imprints programmed within my mind's eye from the moment I took my first breath and was tagged with an assigned gender at birth. These memories are recollections of a conscious and subconscious journey that has hindered, denied, and diluted my identity, breaking it into pieces that are not allowed to exist together. In contrast, when I allow myself to think specifically about my authentic self, I easily sense a deeply sown, unnamed sentiment that comforts me. This sentiment has always been part of my essence. It has always been there, steadily protected, shielded from the denial of my being and the binary expectations that I have never named as my own. Like the memories of the person who I am assumed to be, this part of me, however, has always been an accepted constant, a component of what makes me who I am, which I have known as intrinsically me across my childhood and adolescence and throughout my adulthood. In my soul, I feel it is the acknowledgement of a truth within me that no one else but me has been able to touch, taste, hear, see, and smell. While society undoubtedly taught me to mimic its expectations under the threat of punishment should I veer off my pre-designated gendered path, I have always been the feelings that only I have known. Within my own skin, I simply exist, comfortably and at peace. This is my essence, unspoiled by whiteness's insistence on who I am and what I am. Ocean Home by Zoe Gamell Brown. My ancestors are from the water. I feel them in my fingers when I walk along the cold coast. I smell my mother's hair, musky and maternal. As the ocean air, now I know why. I feel at ease when I take deep breaths while I sit by the sea and hear the ocean say, "Don't go away. Don't fret. Don't fear. You're supposed to be here."
Thrill House Tattoo supports the community any way they can, so of course they joined April Atonement. This is a place that is for everyone, so huge thanks for sponsoring our household sub prize. Thrill House Tattoo is a proud women and trans non-binary led studio that prides itself on caring for its clients like it cares for its community, not to mention all the amazing art. So subscribe, renew this April Atonement, win a $400 tattoo voucher with one of their award-winning artists. Go to 4ZZZ.org.au.
You're listening to Transmission on 4ZZZ, amplifying the trans and gender diverse voices of Milian, Brisbane and beyond. And I am joined in studio by an extraordinary local icon. I'm very happy to have her here. I'm scrolling frantically through my notes to find the intro that I wrote. There it is. Okay, I'm so excited to introduce one of the other guests. PS has also been on the show this morning and will continue to stick around. But we now have Angel in studio, a burlesque and comedy performer whose work brings together humor, storytelling, and powerful expressions of identity and culture. Angel's presence in performance spaces speaks to both creativity and resilience, and I'm really looking forward to chatting to her perspectives today. Hi, Angel.
Hi, oh my god, hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. It's been an interesting morning.
Yeah, a bit frantic to get in here, hey.
100%, truly the POC queer experience.
You mean it's now? Oh, crap. Like, better come in.
Well, I mean, I feel that I learned a lot today, like the difference from AM to PM. Very important.
There's a song about from AM to PM, I think.
Is there?
Yeah, some really popular R&B song back in the 90s or early 2000s, I think. I don't think I have that track right on me right now, but there's a song like from AM to PM. Anyway, I won't derail the conversation into R&B music, but it's so good to have you here. And I'm so glad that you are here to chat about race and gender and racism, white fragility, all these things that happen in our community, which is sad but also true. And I think a big part of the episode today and what inspired me to want to chat to you is because we should be holding community accountable, and we want to change some of the things that we're experiencing. We're all one big family together, and it would be great to come back to a place where we're respecting each other in the intersections of our cultural identity. We're trans, but culture is also part of our transness. And what does that look like? What does that mean? So would love to hear more about what's your story? How did you get to Brisbane? And tell us a bit about, your journey.
Well, 11 years ago, I got a plane ticket, and it was for Brisbane. But, so I'm from El Salvador. And yeah, I feel like my journey is very ingrained with my queer journey as well, because I actually had no idea about trans people growing up in El Salvador. And, other people in El Salvador might know them, but like maybe I grew up very like Catholic, so I had no idea. So when I came here, no idea that being trans was a possibility. Yeah, when I first got here, I got here when I was 18. I was still very nervous about exploring not only my gender identity, but like my sexual orientation at the time, because when you're like raised like super Catholic. Oh my God, I was actually in like a youth group. I know that's crazy. Like I was in a youth group.
I think that's common though, right? Youth groups are common.
Yeah, but like in a church youth group and all of that, like praying and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like very, very, oh my God, people cannot see the sign. But I'm like holding my hands in prayer sign. Yeah, you'll get it. So for me, exploring my queer identity took me a while. I think it took me like a year. I had to meet someone. I met a Colombian friend actually. He's so femme. And I love that. Because for me, I always felt that I had to repress that. So seeing him being able to be so open about his femininity kind of allowed me to start opening that door a little bit, which thanks God, because I'm so femme. I'm like, I feel like before pre-transition, like I was femme, but like transitioning fully opening that door for me, and I'm like, thanks God, because I cannot hold it in,
Yeah.
Too much.
Gave you permission.
Yeah, which I think that's so important. I mean, representation is so important. Trans visibility is a whole other thing though. It's a whole different topic, because I feel that trans visibility is super important, but also I understand why people choose not to be visible, because being visible it's hard. You know? Like,
do you think it's extra hard being a person of color in Brisbane and trans?
100%. I feel that I have this joke on my comedy set that is kind of like I'm kind of collecting minorities for my bingo card. But I had this really bad experience where someone, like a member of our community, like a cis white gay man, very important, cis white gay man.
Mm-hmm.
He went on a tirade against me, like, because he was drunk, and he started from, you should go back on your boat, to you'll never be a woman, which is crazy. So I feel that, being POC is hard period. Like, even though I do have to acknowledge, I do have the privilege that I'm white passing, the moment I open my mouth, like, you definitely know that I'm not from here. Oh my God, I fully lost track.
But there's also this extra element, right, where, as a femme presenting trans woman, you're kind of, you can pass, and then when you open your mouth, people hear the tone of your voice, but then this extra element, they hear your accent as well. So there's like two things happening there. And, that might be a shock for some people, particularly with how white Australia is. Australia is so white. And I feel like Australians generally don't have a very good sense of Latin American culture.
Oh, God, no.
No, not at all. They don't even know how to dance, which is depressing.
Oh my God, actually it's such a good story, but that's so true. They don't know how to dance. My boyfriend's trying to learn though, which I love, but I feel like also because the Latin experience from the white Australian point of view gets reduced to you're either Colombian or Mexican or Brazilian.
Yeah,
like the other
big
countries don't exist, which is crazy. And when people insult you, they purposely will tell you that you're from those countries. Even if they know that you're from a different country, it's by default. They're like, oh,
oh, you're not Colombian.
Yeah, or like,
yeah.
It's I don't know. It's like, but also I feel that the Latin identity gets reduced to a stereotype that we're loud, that we're spicy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the word spicy so much.
It's just a code for ethnic, right?
Well,
it's another
exotic.
way.
Oh my God.
You're so spicy, quote unquote. I know what you're saying.
Words.
Yeah.
Actually, oh my God, I know that we're definitely going to talk about the intersection between the queer community with, trans and POC, but also being trans and POC on dating apps was crazy.
Oh no.
Because like, what are they going to choose to fetishize me for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, which thing today?
Yeah, it's like, being trans and POC is definitely really tough. I feel like sometimes it just gives people more ammunition. I kind of feel like they hit, like in Mario Bros. When they have the little thingy that they hit. Oh my God, on Mario Kart, when they get like the little power-ups.
Oh, yeah, the power-ups, yeah.
And it's just like rolling and rolling. I feel like that's what, they hear the accent, they hear my tone of voice, and they're like, what am I going to say right now,
Yeah. You're going to get the blue shell.
Yeah, damn. The blue shell is a combination
Banana.
of everything. Oh, see, I
You're like, I can get a banana.
Yeah, banana is fine. Potassium, But, yeah, I feel that... Oops, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I fully lean back.
No, you're fine. The chairs are squeaky in this studio. That's fine.
I like them. I feel like, squeaky keeps you grounded.
Squeaky over spicy.
Squeaky over spicy. That's going to be my new tagline. Yeah, I feel that the most transphobia and racism I have received is not even from like cis straight men. It's been from like cis white gay men, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it's almost like white men, in broadly, regardless of sexuality, have a lot to hold and answer for.
Oh, yeah.
So it's understandable that it kind of bleeds into our queer community. I also find, and I mean, I'll get your thoughts on this as well. We'll talk a bit more about it because I wanted to read that awesome post from Tara Knight, which I'll read. I'll read out shortly. But I think there are also some parallels between white cis gay and white trans women spaces. There are some overlaps particularly with race. I don't know if I can't really speak to the gendered aspect of this, but I've definitely experienced racism from white trans people. In the same way, people are like, oh, what an exotic name. I've heard the word exotic so many times. And I've had people like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, I don't know, north side of Brisbane. What are you talking about? So people make a lot of assumptions about me. Also, racism is it's such a difficult thing because it's experienced within our own communities as well, with colorism. I don't speak Spanish, so I find that Latin American communities in Brisbane don't treat me like I'm a real Latino because I don't speak Spanish. And so then I don't spend a lot of time in those spaces because I don't feel like I'm accepted. But then I don't really feel white enough to be in completely white spaces all the time. So I end up in this limbo. But how have your experiences been with white, queer, or trans spaces?
To be honest, I took a massive break from queer spaces the moment I started my transition because I felt that my identity was questioned more than in non-queer spaces. I felt that I needed to be super passing in order for my transition to feel valid in the eyes of others.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt given I acknowledged, but also not an excuse because I know that I did drag back in the day, you know. So something that was really triggering for me is I stopped doing that, and I would be at a bar in a queer space, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and people would be like, oh, what time are you on? And I'm like, I'm literally wearing jeans and a t-shirt. It's crazy. Does it look like I'm performing? You know what I mean? So I definitely took a massive break. I have not really been around queer spaces because it just feels like my transition needs to be at a certain point, which is crazy because you will think that in a queer space you will feel safe enough, especially in the awkward stages of the transition. The early days, you should feel accepted. It's already hard enough to do it.
And you're vulnerable. You're so vulnerable in the beginning. We're just little babies,
It's so scary. And you don't know how to do things, you know what I mean? That's the most important thing. It's especially when you first start your transition, you don't know how to do the things, you need the information, and it's just it can be a little bit scary. So I kind of retreated myself. I was also super lucky to have the community from Dysphoric, super grateful. And also I knew some of the girlies from House of Alexander. They were amazing with tips and stuff.
Shout out to House of Alexander.
Shout out to House of Alexander. So I am grateful for the trans women that have helped me on my transition, but I did avoid the queer spaces because I didn't know if I fitted in, which is crazy. I felt more of a stranger. And thinking about, I've been, I hate to say this word, but I've been I was going to say a scene, but no, I've been around for a while. So, it was a crazy change for me because I've been performing for 7 years at that point. So I did know a lot of people, but I felt at the moment I started my transition and I stopped performing, I felt fully alone. I was like, damn, okay, I don't belong anymore. Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
If you're not performing in community, then you're obviously, therefore, not in community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that's probably when you need them the most, when you start something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you had a really good question just before as well, and I forgot about it. No. It was like about passing. Yeah. Also, oh my God, completely side note, but I feel that something that white trans people forget, especially white trans women, is that passing is easier for them because we're based on the Western standards of beauty, which means society sees any facial features from our cultures, they immediately classifies them as masculine.
Yeah.
So sometimes white trans women forget about that, and I'm like, no, girlie, you have it.
You're like, I'm a Latina. That's why I look like this. Thank you.
100%. I'm like, I feel that sometimes that also the pressure of FFS comes from that. Obviously, yeah, I fully support people getting FFS if they want.
Facial feminizing surgery, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, sorry. Oh my God,
yeah, no, you're good.
I know. But
the pressure to do that, yeah.
Yeah, because we want to meet that standard, but it's put on us by society. And I really applaud the girlies that they stay true to their culture, to their facial features. But I feel that that's the pressure of facial feminization, is that we're trying to adhere to Western standards of beauty.
Yeah, and it's whitewashing ourselves. Yeah, you're so right. I want to keep talking to you about whiteness in the trans community and what that looks like for people who don't know, particularly because we have such a white community in Australia. So obviously our trans community is quite white too. So these conversations are really important. And Angel and I were just talking about how we've actually met before and how we're definitely going to hang out again because we're going to go cook food for each other, which is the most Latin thing to do.
It's such a Latin thing.
And it's like, when are we cooking and dancing again?
Oh my God, real though, to Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And I'll be the white-ish person taking advantage of just showing up and taking the food from...
Oh my God.
Well, that's what the food's for, is for sharing.
Yeah. I thought that's a Latin experience. You share community. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I keep moving away from the mic.
You're fine. I can hear you.
Oh, yay. I feel heard and seen. The Latin experience is definitely sharing community by breaking bread together.
Yeah.
Which usually is not even bread, it's like tortillas. But
breaking
the same
tortillas
experience.
Yes, let's do it. Let's break tortilla together. Actually, that should be the title of the episode.
Break tortillas.
Yeah, yes. Break tortillas together. Mm-hmm. Great. All right. Well, I wanted to read this little thing out because I sent it to you before you came on the show today. And it's called What is White Fragility and Why White Trans Women Adopt It by Tara Knight. I just want to give a little bit of some context around what we're about to hear. So I'm going to read an excerpt from this piece. The piece reflects on how emotional responses can sometimes shift or redirect conversations about racism and how broader cultural ideas about gender and whiteness can shape behavior in our community spaces. So Tara Knight talks about, and I'll read this. So, white fragility is the pattern where white people and a certain type of white woman have this outsized emotional reaction when race comes up. Instead of engaging with what's being said, they collapse into tears and defensiveness, and suddenly the conversation is all about their feelings. The idea is that because white people in mostly segregated white social environments rarely sit with the discomfort of racial discrimination. So they've actually built zero tolerance for it. The second it shows up, they sort of short circuit. The button metaphor works perfectly because it's like press it and the whole mechanism redirects. Suddenly, you're managing someone's feelings instead of talking about racism. Classic derail, usually not even conscious. And there's this whole phenomenon with white trans women where transitioning into womanhood sometimes means transitioning into that too. Because we are taught essentially, and I'll summarize here, we're taught essentially that in order to be feminine, we have to model ourselves to what we see in the mainstream, which is that how white women perform femininity equals being a woman. So sometimes what Tara Knight is saying is that femininity is actually performed by over-emotional reaction, and sometimes that also means performing white fragility when it comes to talking about race. Now, and I sent this to you, and you were like, oh, this is so true. I feel like I relate to this, and I see this. I feel like as a trans man, as a culturally diverse trans man, I've experienced this from white trans women as well, where instead of actually dealing with the conversation of race, they're having big emotional reactions, and then I end up having to deal with their reaction instead of like, hey, I'm just trying to talk to you about this. What is your experience of that?
I cannot think of like one particular example, but I mean, you must definitely have heard this term before of the white woman's tears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, white woman's tears.
Popular in the POC community. I feel that it also comes from this kind of phenomenon of pushing down. You're already a minority and you push down the other minority to like make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always have to be like in an aggressive way, like what men do, that they're, you know, that emotional pushing down is basically what they do. They make you feel bad about being from culturally diverse background. Even though you're still part of the same community, you're still trans, they make you feel bad about being from the culturally diverse. Oh my god, my English is not Englishing today. But that's the POC experience, and that's in period. Yeah, I feel that it's a tactic of keeping down the POC community, of keeping you silent, actually. Because we're talking with my friend BC, shout out to BC Body, love them, that the term aggressive or those terms are actually used to push you down, to keep you silent, you know? So white woman's tears are another tactic of keeping you silent and not talking about the issues that you face as a culturally diverse person.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we have, it's almost like hierarchy.
Yes.
Right? Like, you know, we have the trans culture and our community, and then within that community, there's different intersections of other experiences that put certain trans people at a greater disadvantage or advantage to others, privilege, so on. That could be class as well, wealth, where you come from, language, you know, whether English is your first language or not, but also, you know, melanin, how much melanin you got. And so really what we're trying to, I guess the whole point of this show is to draw attention to like, hey, these things exist within our community as well, but we actually all have one common enemy, which is patriarchy. And when we're putting each other down, we're actually knocking all of us down. We're knocking each other down as trans people. Do you have what's a great piece of advice for someone who's like trying to do, you know, less racial harm?
Someone trying to do less racism.
Yeah, it's just like, can you fix this? You know, like.
I think empathy. I feel like empathy is like the biggest solution to everything, because if you're trying to put yourself in the shoes of someone, and the thing is, like, you might make a mistake, you know what I mean, you might hurt someone's feelings, and that's okay. You just need to apologize, own up to it. Accountability is very important. Empathy, accountability, and just listen to what they're saying, because if you have hurt someone's feelings, you know, they will tell you. It's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, and it's okay for someone to be like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with what you said, and it's okay to be uncomfortable with making a mistake. Like, it's
that's
okay.
An important one.
You
I
know,
feel like that's very important as well, because I feel like we have been taught to kind of like swallow that discomfort. So it is very important to remember that you are allowed to feel uncomfortable, and you're allowed to share it when someone has hurt your feelings, because you shouldn't feel like you have to silence your emotions for the comfort of, I don't want to say a white person, but for the comfort of a white person or anyone, you know what I mean? Like, you're allowed to feel uncomfortable. And also that includes like white passing. Like, sometimes we have to remember that of the white passing privilege. Like, just because we're from X race doesn't mean that you cannot be racist. Like, you can still be racist if you're culturally diverse. So it's also very important for us to remember that, to keep in mind, say for white passing, to keep in mind that privilege as well, and listen to our siblings. Yeah, listen to each other. Sit in your discomfort. It's okay. And we can move through it. Listen is really, really important. Listening is one of the really big things. Yeah, I don't know, Pierce, do you have anything to say about this?
No, actually, you I was just about to bring up the importance of listening, and you got it, which is awesome, because that is the most important thing. I think so often when we as people of color try to bring up our experiences, people don't want to listen. They will acknowledge before you finish speaking, and then talk about things that have happened to them.
Redirecting it to themselves.
And exactly. And then everything that you want to say is silenced. There's not room for you anymore. And just by listening, it just makes a world of difference for people whose experiences are different than your own.
Yeah, and I think that goes for like all trans experiences too. You know, for cis people, you know, in order for them to be able to be allies to us, they need to sit and listen to trans stories. In the same way that in order to be an ally for people of color and culturally diverse people, listening is the same thing. Whether you're trans, whether you're gay, and white, listening is still the important element there. And empathy, right? Like, you know, everyone surely has an experience of marginalization or feeling excluded in some way, whether that's primary school or with family or at work, or at some point there's been a moment where you've been like, oh, I feel like I'm left out or I'm being treated differently for some reason. Having that empathy, applying it to, you know, our experiences would also be really helpful. Yeah. I don't know. Did you guys have any more thoughts on that?
Oh my god, sorry, I didn't mean to like pack my lips. No, I think that's been very well said. Like everything. I feel like I don't know. I feel like if we all bake a cake made of rainbows. I forgot the line from from Mean Girls?
From Mean Girls?
I forgot the line. The cake line.
She doesn't even go here.
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Yeah, but
the other line.
Yeah, but it was about that character.
It was about that cake. But okay, let's say the cake is empathy. I feel like most of the issues in the world will be solved if we were all able to put ourselves in each other's shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like take a minute to listen, and not just hear, but listen. You know, like what is it like to actually imagine what's going on for someone that's trying to tell you something important, even if it's uncomfortable. We're reached the end of Transmission now, and I just want to thank our guests. Thank you so much, Pierce and Angel, for coming in. Your voices matter, and thank you so much for sharing your stories today. It's like, and your honesty as well. And being vulnerable with listeners. Conversations like this ask a lot, and not just from us, the people speaking about it, but also from all of us listening. We've talked about race, gender, white fragility, community, and the ways that harm can show up, even in spaces that are meant to feel safe. Sitting with that discomfort is part of the work, and it's how change begins. If you want to keep engaging with these ideas beyond today's show, there are some incredible resources out there. For those starting out, How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi is a really accessible entry point. For those working in community like mental health or social work, Decolonizing Therapy by Jennifer Mullen offers important insight into practice and is also available via podcast. More broadly, you might want to explore Sister Outside, Essays and Speeches by Audre Lorde, as well as Unapologetic, A Black, Queer and Feminist Mandate for Radical Movements by Charlene Carruthers. And the final book that I'll mention is Black on Both Sides, A Racial History of Trans Identity by C. Riley Snorton. All powerful books that speak to race, gender, and liberation. I'll put links to these in the show notes and the 4ZZZ website, 4ZZZ.org.au. Head to the Transmission page, you can see it all there. Additionally, beyond these recommended readings, what we do with this conversation matters, so I want to leave you with some questions. If you are a queer white person, how are you showing up for your community? When you are challenged, do you lean into accountability or do you retreat into defensiveness? And what are you actively doing to build spaces that are genuinely inclusive, materially supportive, and accountable to trans people of color? There is joy, culture, wisdom, profound ancestral knowledge, and generational strength in these communities, and that deserves not only to be celebrated, but protected. There are things you will not see and cannot experience, and that is not a failure. But ignoring the people who do see it is. So whose voices are you centering? And when it matters, are you willing to step back, to listen, and to redistribute power? This conversation doesn't end here. It continues in your actions, in the rooms you are in the spaces you shape, the harm you interrupt, and the accountability you take. Change is not passive, and community is not neutral. It is something we build, protect, and fight for together. Thank you so much, Pierce and Angel.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. We're going to have so much more food and fun together.
Oh my god, yes.
Have fun and see you all next week. Bye! Thanks for listening to Transmission. Catch us every Monday live on 4ZZZ from 10 a.m. or listen to our podcast on the Community Radio Plus app.